It's all about the Health and Healing Hub experience each and every Saturday on your favorite station between the hours of 2 and 4. ContrastRadio.net.
Yay! Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the Health and Healing Hub experience, hosted by myself, Funmilola, and the fantabulous Miss T. Now, Miss T cannot be with us this week, so it's just me alone that's going to host you. But I have some beautifully awesome guests coming from all walks of the world, life, experience and living. And so I'm joined by Sis San'Ra, Sis Lucy, Sis Ruth, Sis Bernice, Sis Wilma, Sis Kelly, and last but not least, Sis Karen. So it's all the sisters, my brothers, kings. You know, you're always welcome here too, right? You know that your energy is just as important to us, okay? So we welcome you with open arms. Welcome everybody, all right? Normally, this is the part of the show where we delve into our main discussion, and this week we're exploring the subject of maintaining happiness. San'Ra is actually in hospital, from a hospital bed. She's doing her hair. I'm so glad that you're getting well, sis, and I'm sending you much love, all right? And hugs. Yeah? All right, so we're talking about maintaining happiness this week. Let me quickly have a look at this. So the definition of happiness is a state of well-being and contentment, gladness, joy, bliss. And there's another statement here, is it's described as a pleasurable or satisfying experience. So what do you think about happiness? Is it something really that you think we should reflect on? Is it important? If so, why? And how do we do this? Who wants to jump in to share?
I'll go.
Is that Wilma?
Tis I.
Oh, who said? Someone said I'll go.
Moi, darling, moi.
Oh, San'Ra. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So happiness almost sounds like a bit of a trick. We can't be happy all the time. We can't be blissful. We can't be in this state where we're so enjoying life that we're not troubled by anything. And all things must be in balance. So there are definitely moments of pleasure and bliss. And even bliss and joy, there's a whole distance between those two. Something that's joyful and something that's blissful, they're not the same thing. So pleasure in whatever form it takes, and to me it will take many forms, is almost a reward for managing to go through life through the drudgery, because a lot of life is just boring, it's dull, it's everyday stuff, and you have to deal with it. That's just the reality. So you've got reality, normal day to day. We do the same things. We go to work, we cook food, we look after our children, we pay the bills. And the downside of that is we can get bored, we can be frustrated, those negatives. And then the other side of that is those moments, oh my God, can you believe this thing is happening? It was so wonderful, it was so great, I got the greatest hug, I met somebody, they're fantastic, I had this moment on my yoga mat, it was blissful. So we have all of those other experiences at the other side. But I think on a day-to-day basis, I'm looking for contentment, I'm looking for peace, I'm looking for surrender is part of my experience. I surrender to pain when it's too much. And the Serenity Prayer comes to mind, learning the difference between the things that we can change and the things we can't, and almost making your peace with that. So yeah, as an opening, I think pleasure are almost a reward for the drudgery of daily life. I think I'll go with that.
Wow. All right. Yes.
Wow.
Ruth, did you want to jump in?
No, I'm I love the way that you articulated, happiness. Yeah. Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Touch me.
Would anyone else want to jump in?
Yeah. I would like to add that happiness involves a combination of lifestyle choices, having mindful practices, and building strong, meaningful relationships. And also knowing fully well that you can only make yourself happy. People can't make you happy. And irrespective of what is going on around us, irrespective of the situation or the circumstance we find ourselves in, we need to keep our head high. We need to make ourselves happy, celebrate the small wins, and even in our moments of challenges, or when we are in the wilderness, when things don't seem rosy, just finding a balance and being happy. I mean, being joyful. Yeah, because like what Sandra said, there are times in life that you're down. It might look as if things are not working, but finding peace, in such situation, yeah. Cultivating gratitude, thanking God for what God has done for you, for the wins you have. I'm sure we can mention 2 or 3 things which we are very happy for. For me, I'll say I'm mindful, I'm happy for life. I'm alive. Being alive is a gift. When you have life, there's still hope. So when you are alive, you are happy. You should be happy. I know. Yeah, there are some things you see around you that might actually want to make you sad. But like I said, happiness is a lifestyle choice, and building strong network of people of like mind, people that can strengthen you when you find yourself in the wilderness. Let me just stop here for now.
That's a great share, Bernice. Thank you. Anybody want to?
Yeah, I would just basically reaffirm all that's already been said. Yeah, it's about finding your peace in those moments where, like I think San'Ra said in her opening remarks, where there's drudgery and things might seem as they're not going to go your way. And yeah, as an example, I'm a person of faith, and I try, not always, I find that it's testing, I try to cling on to that okay, today's gone a bit awry or wrong, but better days are coming. I try to hold on to like the old sayings that they like from Barbados, which is my heritage, and they say little and content is great gain. And for me, that interprets that you could have like the smallest of, homes, or not the mod cons, but it's what you make of that situation. Because I go back to when I was a child, and you see people suffering in parts of the world, and like a bowl of porridge or a thrown away toy would excite a child.
Gosh.
And I think we've moved away from that. We just go on to the next thing. And really, it's like I agree with Bernice, your happiness can't be cultivated by another person. It's an inward feeling, because I've had things go wrong in my situations, but how you feel around other people can bring it out of you.
And that was the joy of the project that we all worked on very recently, the joy that poured out of that environment. And I believe you can give happiness to others as well, even in your circumstance of whatever that challenge might be. You can pass that on to someone else.
Wow, that's excellent. That's some amazing and interesting feedback I got there. Now, I just got some statistics today. Right, so here we go. Nature, right? Nature leads to happiness. People are substantially happier. I'm actually reading this. So this is some statistics that I found earlier today. So nature, for me anyway, nature is a biggie. It's massive. I don't know what it is about when I go outside. Warm weather helps. Hot weather helps, though. I'm not a lover of the cold, to be fair. But let me just quickly read this now. Nature leads to happiness. People are substantially happier outdoors when they're in green or natural environments than they are in urban environments. People who feel a connection to nature and believe that nature is important to their lives are generally happier than those that don't. And it doesn't take long either. Being outside in nature for as little as 20 minutes a day makes people feel more alive, even when researchers discounted the effect of the activity they were doing outside. 57% of Americans prefer to spend a summer evening outdoors. And here it says it's time to move. Living near a beach helps families be more physically active, have more fun together, be less stressed, engage with nature more. Nature improves your mental and physical health. So when we observe the beauty of nature, our bodies produce lower levels of pro-inflammatory cytokines, meaning that we're in a healthier state. Alright, 69% of people who took part in green activities such as gardening or environmental conservation work felt an increased sense of well-being. This is what a study has shown. Now, there's more here, lots more. I'm going to, because I don't want to give this all away. I want to see what you guys think. There's a lot here that I really agree with. But let me go back now to see what we've got here.
Hello, we are going to move the patient.
I can hear some.
When you ready, let me know.
Go back to you guys. Bernice. All right, so I mean, from what I read about nature, it seems to me that certain smells, sights, sounds actually help to make us happier as well. These are external things. Can we... In fact, someone's answered the question already. I think it was Bernice, or was it Kelly, that said it's an internal thing. Happiness is internal. I think it's actually both. I think ultimately it should come from inside, but also it's external as well. For example, if I was to go and help somebody, for some reason it makes me happy. Why does that make me happy when I try to help somebody? Has anyone else experienced that? When you genuinely want to help somebody, why does it make you feel happy?
I suppose it goes back to the old saying of it's better to give than to receive.
Yeah.
And if I can think of so many practical examples, whether it be a conversation with someone in their pain and strife, and seeing the impact of the words that I've offered them in that moment just gives me that injection. I think someone else said it about, I think it was Bernice, about hope. So where there's life, I've given hope to someone else, which ultimately reaffirms why I exist.
Exactly.
Because you can get consumed in your own thoughts, and then when you help someone else, it reminds you your purpose and your existence.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Wow. Love it.
Yeah.
There's actually evidence that shows that we have a range of hormones which make us feel good. Serotonin, dopamine, noradrenaline, and certain actions will produce certain hormones, and one of those things is actually helping other people, that it releases that happy hormone within us. So there's an actual chemical reaction in our brain when we help someone willingly. They know that for a fact, which is why voluntary work is so popular. But it was something Bernice said earlier about happiness being a lifestyle choice. I think it was Bernice. Yeah. And they also know that we can choose to be happy.
Yeah.
If people are like, I'm not choosing to be unhappy, we can actually make a decision that regardless of what's happening, we're going to be okay, we're going to be contented, that this will pass, and we're going to choose not to get engrossed in whatever the situation is and see it as a problem and panic and go into a mode where we feel helpless. We can choose to do that, although people don't often feel they have that control. But that is it's literally up to us to say, whatever happens today, I'm going to be happy. It's almost that simple. People will argue and say, no, it's not. I'm not choosing to be unhappy. You are. Subconsciously, and people will think, well, I'm going to be unhappy. But it's that if I'm always seeing a problem, regardless of what's happening, if I expect things to go wrong, they will go wrong.
Yeah.
If I wake up and say, oh my God, it's raining, and therefore I think I'm going to get wet, my hair's going to get wet, it's a miserable day, people are going to be miserable, that's what I'll find. Versus it's raining, that means the food, we're going to get food because it's nurturing the earth and it's going to the crops. And do you know what I mean? You could literally choose how you're going to look at the situation. Is it the glass is half full or it's half empty? And from that, you then trigger a whole host of other thoughts which reinforce the original thought. Yeah.
Wow. That is it. That is so true. But it's easier said than done, because I think with the mind is like a garden. If you do not put something in it, you have to work it. You have to put something in that mind. Otherwise, it starts to think all kinds of things all coming from all kinds of different directions. You've got your mind to contend with, you've got TV, you have magazine, you have this, you have that, you have social media. So all kinds of things start to root itself in there, unless, at least what I find, unless I really take time to stop, yes, physically stop and say and correct it, either talking to myself internally or actually saying it out aloud to change what I've heard or what I've seen or what I've said. What it is with the brain, it can rewire itself. So if you're prone to negative thoughts, you can actually change. I'm not saying it's easy. You can entrain, or they call it entrain, or rewire your brain to think more of. It does this naturally anyway. Whatever you think, it magnetizes it.
Yeah.
That's why we have to think positive.
When you said the mind is like a garden, then the nurturing or the lack of nurturing or the anti-nurturing happens when the garden is just being set up when we are young, those formative years. Whatever we learnt in those years, they're literally laid down like tracks in our brain. And so the rewiring is really hard, because we are creatures of habit. Our behavior is automatic. We're doing it without thinking about it, because it's now become this reinforced habit, beliefs without challenge. And so that's now where we're starting from. And so the idea that we can rewire our brain, first of all, we have to accept it, because it just sounds so strange to our experience. To our own experience, we know how things run, and saying actually you can change how you think runs contrary to that. So first there's the accepting that that's a possibility, and then the work can take months and years. And even when you've created new neural pathways, so here's the old pathway that as a child you learn this and this, and you believed it as an adult, but now you've reached the state of development and awareness where you say, no, I want to be different. So you work really hard, you create this other new pathway. The old original one is still there, you created this new one. Years can go by and you're working the muscle of the new one, you've got all these positive things going on, your beliefs and your actions, and then something triggers you and you go back to the original way of doing the thing, and you have to go back and reinforce the way you say you talk to yourself out loud. I spent years challenging myself around negative self-talk, or for example, so I have some disabilities going on, and I heard myself. I was online, it was during COVID, we're doing some online exercises, and I did a movement, and it was like, well, that's a bit rubbish because it's not what I'm used to doing, it's not how my body normally performs. And I challenged myself. I said, no, actually, at this moment, that is the best kick I can do. That's a damn good kick considering what I'm working with. And it's catching yourself and then changing and reinforcing. Yeah. And so that you almost have to be watching yourself. That is hard. That is tiring, as well as all the other things you're trying to do in that moment. Yeah. So yes, it's possible, but it is hard work. And the original beliefs, they don't go anywhere. They just sit there waiting for a moment to pounce again and pull you back down.
Exactly, the subconscious mind, I'm telling you, 95% is running the show, and every thought that you have, you think it's deleting it. It's holding those things. It doesn't delete anything. The only thing you can do is you can rearrange those thoughts, your default thoughts. But those thoughts that you thought, and that's why they say, give me a child from it's 0 to 7. Give me a child until it's 7 and I will show you the man. Because that's when that mind is fertile ground. Anyone want to throw something else in? Wilma?
Going back to the going back to the mindset, I'm sitting here thinking, I haven't got nothing to say.
That's not like you.
Yeah, but I haven't got nothing to say because they've said it all.
But do you agree?
Yeah. And the mindset is, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking I'm not as good as these people.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's and who told you that? Exactly. Where did you hear that?
Well, when I was young, you get told something and you counteract it, but deep down you're still fighting it. I'm so old now. I'm still fighting it on a daily basis. Yeah. I don't want to promise myself to anyone, but I just know that I lack in certain places. So I feel,
Who of us is 100% anyway?
I really want to take a moment with that, because that's like, whoa, but we all lack in certain places. So I wouldn't take that and then say, I'm not good enough. I'm bloody good enough. Yes, I have room for development. If I didn't, then what am I doing here? So we're lacking in certain places. You saying that says you are self-aware. That means you're doing work on yourself. That's a good thing. But it's the way you said it. Yeah. I'm challenging. Yeah, it's the way you said it. And the things we heard when we were young, we heard them repeatedly from people who were supposed to care for us. Yes. And we believed them. Yes. We believed them. That's the trouble. We believed them. We heard it so often that as a child, of course you believe them. They're your parents. They know best. Yeah, that's the problem.
I was often told to be quiet. And sometimes I felt I had something to say and I wanted other people to listen. But as you get older, maybe your husband or someone says, oh, you think you know it all, and then you go back in your little corner because you don't want to be out there too much, But
reinforcing the original message.
Yeah. But
making you think it must be me.
Yeah. I say I may not have qualifications, but I've got common sense.
There you go.
Yeah, I've got a lot.
I'm sorry, I don't like the smallness of it. I may not have.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't prove anything.
Yeah.
Did you have opportunity to study? Did you want to study?
Well, I did, but children, marriage, got married.
Right.
I put that on the burner.
Yeah. I want you to think about, I'm sorry, we're having a coaching session now. I didn't like that. I may not have, therefore it's the negative. No. At this point in life, if I applied for a job and I put I don't have a degree. I was trained as a nurse when we didn't need a degree, but my GCSEs and my O levels and my nursing qualification, all the other things I've done. Nobody says, show me your certificates. They don't care. At this point in our life, they do not care. So I would say at this point in our life, our experiences and who we are as people counts far more than the pieces of paper that we learned book smart. So I don't want to hear, Mrs. I don't want to hear you say that I may not have. No. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that, girl.
I think those things can come up. Those kind of thoughts can come up though if you had carers or parents that kind of valued someone that was bright, or a child that was brighter than the sibling. So some of those thoughts could come up. I'd say, yeah, I can relate to that. I'd always remember when me and a friend, we stayed at Champneys one weekend. So, it's one of those big health spas, and there's lots of rich people that go there. And every minute, me and my friend, we would be in fits of laughter when we was looking at some of these people's face. We were having an amazing time, but some of them, they looked so sad, so sad to the fact that we were sitting having breakfast one day, and we said, look at this one, look, so sad. Of all the foods that we could choose to eat, the scenery, the luxury, oh my God. And some of them just look so... It was incredible. Mo Gaudat is a public speaker, author and entrepreneur. He said at one point in his life, the more that he got more and more unhappy. The more that he actually got. So to me, that's telling me, well then, happiness is it's not something that is actually external. Or at least not all external.
Yeah.
It's more in something that comes from within.
Yeah.
There's people that don't get what they think that they deserve in life, and so they become unhappy as well. So there's people that have or seem to have everything, and then there's ones that don't seem to have or feel that they don't have what they deserve. They get unhappy as well.
And the society has set up an expectation. Capitalist society says, when you're rich, you'll be happy because you'll have everything you ever wanted. And so people have been primed for this. Get the qualifications, get the good job, get the nice house, get the new car, get the wife, blah, blah. And then make sure yours is better than everybody else. So that's your measure of success. And so when your neighbor gets a bigger car or better wife, then you have to get one too, because now you can't be happy looking at them and thinking, well, how come this is bigger or better than mine? The grass is absolutely greener on the other side. So it has to be internal, because money can help buy experiences, and experiences can give you temporary happiness. But when the experience is done, the happiness goes with it. So those people at Champneys, all of that was around them that they could enjoy, they couldn't for whatever internal reason. They weren't seeing it. They were having a completely different experience to you.
Some of them, a couple of them just look sad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying money doesn't help. Of course it does. But it's just something that I would never forget.
The pursuit.
With the Most High, some people call it Source or Spirit, the Most High, Allah, God. But one thing I notice with spirit or God is that it always seeks to give itself more. It grows and grows and grows and expands. It never exhausts itself.
Wait, you lost me a little bit. What is the process?
The process depends on what exactly you want from life. Because with myself, there's still a lot of things that I want. There's still a lot of things I want. But then when I look back, especially when just the healing work, when I look back and see, wow, to see where I've come from too, that's amazing as well. And when I'm looking, it's like, is this the same person? In fact, it's almost like I am in the same lifetime, but I'm not. I don't know if that makes any sense. I really don't know if that makes sense. Sorry?
There's transformation.
Yes. I have sometimes I feel, but I want a massive one. Extra. But it's all in time. It's all in process. And when you get, or should I say when I forget that, take it in steps. God knows what they're doing, okay? They know. They can see around all the corners that you can't. Some things we need to develop in ourselves. We're not actually quite there yet. So what is for us will come for us in time. I don't know. That's what I learned.
When you were speaking about source and how it expands, it made me think of love and the fact that we have endless amounts of love, that I can't love so many people and then have no more love left to give. And then that made me think of children, very young children who are untouched by the environment, by adults polluting them, essentially is what we do. They are just so expansive and open, and the joy just pours out of them because that's how they came. That's where you took me, and then you went to transformation.
Yeah, I'm think finding your purpose in life will also help a bit, like what Funmilola just talked about. You need to know why. You need to know your purpose, why you're created. Of course, we're created for service, and that service can be in different ways. Not necessarily being a bishop or maybe a pastor. In whatever you're doing, in which industry or in whatever job role you find yourself doing, we are actually offering or doing a service. So I think we need to know our purpose, why we are called, and what for. So that will help us to shape our that will help us to harness our how do I put it now? When you know your purpose, when you know the reason why you're called, you know what God actually wants you to do. And like you mentioned, is in stages and in phases. You can't achieve all at the same time. You can't do all at the same time. So after a phase, you move on to the next phase. It might look as if you're not doing anything. It might look as if you're taking you're just taking few steps, but even those few steps, they are mighty, because you are actually transforming lives around you. So for me, I think it's also part of it, knowing who you are, knowing why God called you, finding your existence, and knowing your purpose in life.
Yes.
So back to what we are saying too about maintaining happiness, we also need to develop a positive outlook. We need to put aside negative thoughts and refrain from negative thoughts and see how we can navigate challenges with resilience. And we should maintain a positive mindset in all that we do. So, yeah.
Bernice, that is definitely one I'd say I'd agree on. Is from me doing the work on me. Is one of my philosophies as well. Is your purpose. Yeah. I mean, your purpose is us as individuals. We are the most important things. Hello.
Yeah.
Us. A lot of us have been brought up to look outside. Everything seems to be outside. When it's all in us. It's in us.
Yeah.
Something that is in us. And what is also important is our purpose. And I'm not talking about our career. A career is good. Career is good.
Definitely.
Career can help you keep your head above water, pay bills, etc., etc. But your vocation is your divine calling. What you came to this earth to do is more important than your career. Some people have careers that they love and they get well paid for, but your divine purpose,
and they're not fulfilled in that career.
Yes, because that's why it's easy for some people to commit suicide, because they don't actually know what their calling actually is. They haven't really found what they're here to do.
Exactly. And then we need connections around us. We need people around us. Even sometimes when it's difficult to decipher your purpose, if you have good people, positive, like-minded people around you, they might be able to direct you or bring out that purpose in you. Someone might just tell you, I see this trait in you. I see this skill in you. I see this thing in you. Like I'm seeing another side of you tonight, Funmilola. This is amazing. You know, when we met and, you know, at they just concluded drama we had last week. I mean, tonight I'm just seeing something amazing. I'm seeing something spectacular.
Oh my gosh.
I've been saying, wow, look at this drama. Oh my God. So, we need people around us, people that would bring out the qualities, the traits we have, like the hidden attributes.
Yeah.
That's why we need to surround ourselves with like-minded people. Yeah. People that can help us, that can lift up our hands, even when we don't see what God has deposited in us. I hope I'm not sounding too religious.
Well, you know, this is I get it. I totally get it. We have to. It's important to have a network around us, a positive network, a network that actually supports us. But I'd say first and foremost is we have to love our own self.
Yeah.
If we love our own self, we're only going to want the best around us. You know, sometimes, you know, you want to do everything. You love someone from the top of their head to the bottom of their foot, and you want to do everything for them. But do you want to do those things for yourself?
Exactly. That's it. That's the challenge.
So I want to be 100% in love with me. That's what I need to be.
Self-care.
That's what I need to be.
Yeah.
See, and not from a selfish point. It's not from a selfish point. It's if you love yourself, then you will want the best for yourself. Yeah. You would want the best in friendships. Why shouldn't you have the best in friendships? You deserve it. You deserve the best. You know what I mean? If you're a kind, loving, giving, beautiful spirit, you should have the best. If we say the Most High is inexhaustible and has riches and power, beauty, we should have part of that. That's not asking
No.
Are we not made in their image?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think we need to, like, last Friday we had a discussion at the Wellbeing Hub, and she told us the power in affirmations, and she told us she has this small card in her bag. She carries it around.
Who's that?
So we had the guest speaker at the Wellbeing Hub.
Oh.
I can't remember. Okay, Nitu. That's the name of the guest speaker we had last week Friday at the Wellbeing Hub. So I put the card very close to my window, so each time I get up in the morning, that's the first thing I set my eyes on. And it's been working, it's been helping me.
Wow.
Because the fact is, there are challenges there every day, but we need things like that to help us. And I look at it every day, I read it, I run with it. And that's what the scripture says in the book of Habakkuk. I hope I'm not sounding too religious, but sometimes these things align with what happens in our daily. So it says that you should write it down and read it, you run with it. And as I wake up every morning, I look at it, it's close to my bedside, and then I read it. Those words are powerful. Those affirmations are powerful. It's been working for me, and so each time I get up in the morning, I look through it. It says you are braver than you thought, than you imagined. You know, those things, those words of affirmation, they are so powerful.
The power of the tongue.
The power of the tongue, yeah. And it's been working. Like I said, you have challenges as you step out of your house. Even before you step out of your house, there are so many things that tend to weigh you down. There are so many, you receive a phone call and all that. But once you say those words to yourself each and every day, they are strong. They are words of power. When you say it to yourself, you speak it to yourself, it spurs you up, it helps you to carry on for that day and the rest of your life. So I would also encourage us, those words of affirmation should be by us. Even when people are not saying it to us, say it to yourself. And you see, it really works. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, word power. The power of affirmations is well documented, and it's because they help rewire our brain to become more positive.
Yes.
Because if you say to yourself, I am brave, I am strong, I am deserving, I am worthy, I live in abundance, and you expect those things. I mean, you say often enough, you will start to believe them, and then you expect, and what you give, what you believe, is what is coming back to you. If you say I'm deserving, you expect things to come to you, because of course you're deserving. There's a promotion. The person who feels worthy and deserving say, I'm going to apply for it. The other person say, no, I don't think I've got enough experience. You don't apply, you don't get it.
Exactly.
And it has a knock-on effect. So they absolutely are effective. I mean, I spent years using affirmations, and I don't do them now because they're just in my head already. I don't even need to do the daily affirmations, which is what I did for a very long time. I will take 3 affirmations and I will just repeat them daily after my gratitude practice, and that was my normal for a very long time. Same to you, lady.
Because I have the same affirmations that Bernice is talking about, because I was also there last Friday. It's now told me that I need to read it every day. I seem to play myself down amongst the people that I'm with, that I walk with every morning, because I've only been there for a year. They've been doing it for many years, and the people that they have known in the park, they keep on asking about me because I brighten up their day. So now,
you have a beautiful personality. You're outspoken.
So now he's saying to me, why am I so out there? So I'm trying to be small, because they've been there for 40 something years and I've only come, and everybody talks to me because I talk to them.
Don't you dare make yourself small. Don't you dare.
No, I'm not going to.
Good.
I'm not going to. I need to hear this today.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
It's amazing. And that's one of the reasons that we put the the platform together, because as people, especially children that have suffered childhood trauma, they're told to be quiet. What are you talking about?
And when you're in the line of six, and you're like in the middle, you get looked over because you're not the oldest, you're not the youngest, and you can kind of get, and it's hard. I'm working on myself, and it will take long. But
it might, or it might not. It will take as long as it will take.
Yeah.
Don't tell yourself it will take long.
No.
Yeah. Afterwards.
Anyway.
Can I ask Wilma?
Yes.
When these colleagues were saying to you, why are you putting yourself out there?
Yeah.
What was your response to yourself?
My response to myself was, I just can't help it. It's just the way I am, I'm noticeable, but I still feel bad for them because...
I was about to ask, did you recognize why they said those things?
Yes, I did.
Why? Why did they say them?
They were
jealous, they're red eyes.
They were trying to take my light.
Absolutely. Good. I'm glad you saw that. All right then. You're doing what? Carry on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's absolutely what it was.
Bit off subject today, but
not at all. They're trying to steal your happiness.
Yes, they are.
You show up as your authentic self, and people respond to that. You're a gentle soul. You've got a big smile on your face. People will be drawn to that, and they're there with their miserable self, and they're wondering why. Oh, she can't. Miserable.
Some miserable people in the park, but they've come down and they talk to me and they answer me, and and they just don't get it. But I look at it, we don't know what anybody's going through on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
I could be smiling, but then I might be sad inside just the same. But
absolutely,
just happy to make other people happy.
Some people say that to be happy you shouldn't expect anything from people.
Oh, I don't.
I'm kind of, and I don't know about that one.
Well, I
would expect something.
So how about
what I mean is honor. I'd expect honor. I'd expect the truth. I'd expect respect. I could be setting myself up to be disappointed by doing that, because
you just answered the question.
Not everybody is going to. Not everybody's in your corner. But in terms of who I would be dealing with, I would actually expect those things, because they also say that water seeks its own level. Do you see what I mean? So if you don't expect anything, what are you going to get?
Okay.
So
don't expect too much.
Kind of.
Now we got a limit.
I don't know about that one. Yeah. But what do you think, Kelly?
I think for me, you have to expect the unexpected to a point, but don't allow the weight or the comments of others to kind of be the center of your perception of yourself. I think comparison kills off a lot of direction in people. And I really, what Wilma was saying resonated with me around making yourself small. And I think that can materialize from result of the environments that you find yourself in, whether it's to do like with someone who's the opposite race, social economics, to people who might be younger, or you can't relate to someone because they don't know the struggle, if you know what I'm saying. So all of these aspects, social economics, really come into play, and I'm still on that trajectory of self-acceptance and not comparing myself to others, and remembering the purpose. And I think it's a constant thing where you have to continue to work. It's like being on a treadmill. You have to continue to work and be consistent with what you're telling your mind, because it's so susceptible to things, like you were saying in your introduction, whether that be through social media, to your friends, your family, and I think it's steeped in slavery as well, because we were told to like put up and just shut up, and that's kind of fed into even conversations. For those that know me, they'll notice I'll never over talk no one, because I was taught by my mum, when it's your time to speak, then you speak. You don't interrupt someone who's older than you. So even as a hardback woman now, I still, like you said, it's hardwired in me, that 0 to 7 stage. You listen, and then when you're spoken to, then you interject. So it's so powerful, you know, all these experiences, for sure.
Ruth.
Hi.
How are you doing?
It's interesting, really interesting listening to everyone speaking. I agree with what everybody's saying. I believe, you know, you let your light shine, no matter who, you know, whatever's going on around you. Just be yourself. You don't know who you're touching by just being yourself, and just as you're genuine and, you know, sincere in what you're doing, your heart is good. No, that's my belief. I'm not as articulate as, you know, but I'm good at writing. I'll give you, do you know what I mean? I know when my
Miss Ruth, you need to stop right there, honey. You were doing so well, and then you went and put yourself down. You better stop that, girl. We ain't having that.
When I was in the group, I was saying, you know, that I like to listen and to hear what people are saying, and I thought it's good to contribute as well. It's been really interesting, and I've enjoyed like listening to everyone, and, you know, everything you're saying is just so important that we carry that every day and remember, you know, what strengths we have, really.
Time really does fly when you're having fun, when you're in the zone, when you do things that interest you and that you enjoy. So need I say that our conversation time's almost expired, and so if you're listening to it on YouTube, it will end shortly. If you're listening to us on Contrast Radio, then you can enjoy the second part of the show, after the advert break, where we take you on a magical musical journey featuring the songs that influenced, moulded and shaped us. So give thanks.
It's all about the Health and Healing Hub experience, each and every Saturday on your favorite station between the hours of 2 and 4, contrastradio.net.
you.